All right, everyone. Happy hump day. Happy hump day. I am live. And let me make sure I can see myself on YouTube here. Thank you to everyone who liked this stream ahead of time. That's always very, very helpful and very, very valuable and very much appreciated. Okay, so today we're going to talk about we're going to ask the question, is it time to stick a fork in the NBA? A discussion with Snowman and others. I also have BGS Ibmore backstage. I think he's seen a lot more NBA basketball than me and Snowman combined. So I think one time I had a group of guys up here, and we went back to Oscar Robertson and all kinds of things. So we're gonna talk about whether or not a fork needs to be stuck in the National Basketball Association. Antoine, I got one of my Michigan football people here. Antoine, thank you for stopping through. All right, I'm gonna play my intro here, and on the other side, I'll jump in and I'll bring my guests up, and we'll start this discussion. It was a different game. We'll talk about this.
Yes.
The stakes were high,
Mm-hmm.
and there was an element of theater in that too.
Oh man, was there ever?
You really wanted. I was on your side,
Mm-hmm.
and I really wanted the Bulls to win. And every time the Pistons, they bully the Bulls and they out physical them, and
Yep. And that was
broke your heart.
That was the advantage the Pistons had, though.
Yes.
Thinking about it, that was the advantage the Pistons had, and that's where they singed in on beating the Bulls. 88 in the East semifinals, 89 and 90 in the East finals, but then the Bulls got it right and outthought them in 1991, which led to the sweep.
Yeah. Well, Snowman, so what do you realistically, another part to that was the Pistons, they aged out. Do you think that's what it completely was, or do you think the Bulls just figured it out?
They figured it out.
Okay.
They snatched their soul. Two advantages the Bulls had in 1991. One, they had home court advantage in the Eastern Conference Finals, and two, 3 years of frustration.
That was me and Snowman chopping it up about a year. No, it's been less than a year. We were talking about sports in general. Snowman has such a large sports acumen, so I just clipped that little piece off. But tonight we're going to talk about, is it time to stick the fork in the NBA? So you guys know, well, for those of you who don't know, I like to give a synopsis and a little monologue before I bring my guests up. So most of you all know this. Some of you are probably tired of hearing about it, but I think this is a nice segue into this. So I am working on a book project, and I am close to putting it through editing. And it's a story about what sports teach you at an early age about life. This link is actually below. This is a description of the project, but the project, the story takes place in a very, very magical time for basketball, the late 1980s. That was arguably the probably, I don't know, my guests can weigh in on this, the golden age, or maybe the back end of the golden age. That was the 80s, the Laker empire, the Showtime empire, the Boston Celtics empire, then the Detroit Pistons repeat, and then the ascension of the Bulls. But that was a very, very magical time. And I think for a lot of people, that captured the imagination of a lot of kids. And I think young people in that era and older people alike, older men alike, really, really took an interest in the NBA. I mean, it was a really, really big deal for many age groups. I don't know what it's like today. I know some young people still follow it, but I don't feel that same need to watch the NBA like I used to. I mean, I am older. I have a lot of things a lot of other breads in the oven, but something doesn't feel the same. Okay. The golden age of the NBA. I just found this. Sports cards. The original NBA hoops. NBA hoops, Cotton Fitzsimmons. These are names that real hardcore old school NBA fans would know from the 80s. Dale Ellis from the Seattle Supersonics. Cliff Levingston, he was with the Atlanta Hawks before he went on that championship run with the Bulls. Roy Tarpley, Cocaine Roy, the Dallas Mavericks. All right, the Dallas Mavericks had a little team before it fell apart. The 1989 All-Star game. I have Michael Jordan's card there. I'm gonna read a few more names. Bobby Hansen, Danny Manning, the Clippers. The late 1980s. Who remembers the Bulls when they had Dave Corzine, right? Jeff Malone, the Bullets, Robert Reed, the Charlotte Hornets. It was just a different era. No stretch fours, no stretch fives, big men, elite point guards, Magic, Stockton, Isaiah, Mark Price, the Cleveland Cavaliers. David Robinson's rookie card. This has got to be worth money one day. Okay, this has got to be worth something one day. I have David Robinson's rookie card. So, just reminiscing on some old times, and I wonder sometimes what happened to that NBA. We know that they legislated a lot of things and a lot of changes there. My uncle, at the beginning of this year, I went out to see my uncle in Utah. He's a hardcore sports fan. My uncle Bodine. Shout out to my uncle Bodine. He said it's unwatchable now. All the 3-pointers being shot up, the lack of defense. It's just unwatchable. The 2023-24 All-Star games. The Denver Nuggets head coach Mike Malone last year, he trashed the All-Star game. And then this season, that was so not on my radar. I got to the next week. I got to Monday, Tuesday. They were talking about it. And I was like, what? Oh, they had the All-Star game? And the All-Star game was getting trashed. So apparently the All-Star game, the slam dunk contest, all that stuff is just going further and further and further in the tank. And then finally, someone shared this with me. A gift from the much maligned Jason Whitlock. I'm going to read this, then I'm going to bring my guests up. Jason Whitlock said, the only way to fix American basketball is to shut down the NBA for a year or two and force a new system and pay structure on the players. 20 years ago, the NHL locked out its players for an entire season and radically changed its pay system. The NBA needs a similar fix. The league needs to work toward attaching a significant portion of pay to wins and losses. I think that's a bit of a moratorium on the load management. Years ago, we didn't have load management. So everyone, with that, I'm going to bring up my guests. I have the Snowman and I have the master teacher, BGS Ibmore. So we're going to talk some hoops. If other folks want to join us after a while, I'll drop the link so other folks can come up. But let me welcome up BGS Ibmore and the Snowman. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hey, what's going on?
Welcome. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem. So everyone, tonight, if you feel so inclined to donate something, don't send me anything. If you want to donate something, send it to Snowman at this Cash App. Is it going to paste in there? It's not pasting for me. Hold on, Snowman. Let me try it again.
I'm excited because I get to talk hoops with two gentlemen that know their stuff.
Well, BGS knows a lot more hoops than I do.
His
son is a.
Don't let Jeannie Buzz hear you, okay?
Hey, wait a minute. He definitely knows a lot more than me because I didn't get into hoops until 1980. Some guy named Magic Johnson showed up.
Okay. So everyone, if you want to donate something to the show tonight, send it here. Don't send anything my way. You're free to please subscribe. Please hit like the stream, but any donations, send them Snowman's way. Okay, so gentlemen, let's start with this.
Bring it on.
Let's kick this thing off with a bang, because in addition to these discussions about whether it's time to stick a fork in the NBA. We also have another discussion going on.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think about the WNBA players clamoring for equal pay to the men?
Sounds like feminism on steroids. They want equity and not equality. The national female soccer team did the same thing. Women's soccer team did the exact same thing.
Matter of fact, the national women's soccer team did it twice.
Yeah. So
and the first time they did it was when they won the World Cup. BGS, you remember, at the Rose Bowl in 1999.
Yeah.
So after they won the World Cup in 1999 at the Rose Bowl, see, everything, something BGS has taught me, everything ties together.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the tie right there. You're in Los Angeles. You're in a major, even though it was Pasadena, you're in a major market.
Mm-hmm.
And the women's soccer team just happened to be on the roll. You put those three together, you got a perfect storm, or what seemed to be a perfect storm.
Mm-hmm.
So after they won that World Cup, thank you, Brandy Chastain, in 1999, they started clamoring for equal pay. All right, wait a minute. You just had 99, I believe it was 99,000 at the Rose Bowl, paying their hard-earned money to see you play. Shouldn't that be enough of an intake to split between the winning members of the team? Nope.
Yeah, but because it's only temporary.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. As far as the WNBA goes, I will tell you why they are still failing entering their 30th year. They play fundamentally sound basketball. That sentence alone drives people away.
Okay, I was just thinking about this because this is something that's going on with the because basically, if you go back and you look at it, all professional sports is entertainment.
Yep.
Yeah. It started out, even college sports, as soon as they started selling tickets, it's entertainment. We keep thinking of this thing as a pure sport, a pure endeavor between athletes. Okay, it's not. It's entertainment. Okay, and I was thinking about this, right? So why when you put a female protagonist as a superhero, it flops, okay, and it flops because women don't want to go see it, right?
Exactly.
And something that the brothers were saying last night, right? Women do not go to see masculine women on film. They go to see masculine men that they are attracted to on film, right?
Yes.
They look at if they want to go see something that's associated with them. Look, the Barbie movie made $2 billion. Had nothing to do with her being a hero. Okay, she was a feminist. She wore cute clothes and she had a hairstyle, stuff that women like, right? When they go to the movies and want to see women, they want to see feminine women. Okay, why is it that the biggest portion of people that go to the WNBA are men? Okay. Women do not go someplace to view masculine females play basketball.
This is true.
They go to see the NBA to see masculine men that they would like to have sex with play basketball. So that's the difference. You have two different things. Just like I was thinking about this. How many men would pay to go see feminine men on a stripper pole?
That's a good point.
Hell of a question.
None. Probably none. It's a small fraction of men probably would go to see that, right? So in other words, you're not giving women what they want because you're trying to sell it to women.
Yep.
And women are not going to see it, and that's the problem. You have more women. If you just took the women that come from the NBA games and transferred just the women, forget the men, to the WNBA, it will be successful. You might even get a parity as far as pay. The thing is, women don't want to see you after 30 years. Women do not want to see WNBA players or masculine women play basketball.
And yet it's survived for almost 30 years.
It's because
it's being subsidized.
It's a marketing ploy because you have female fans at NBA and you got to look like you're about equity.
True.
Because I think it's 35% of your NBA fans are female, women. Even though they don't go to see the WNBA.
When I was back home in Chicago, I covered the WNBA for 4 seasons, covering the Chicago Sky, including their first appearance in the WNBA Finals in 2014. Do you know fans came out of the woodwork in 2014 the further they got in the playoffs?
Yeah.
This is even though Chicago held the number 2 seed. They held the number 2 seed. The Indiana Fever, a number 2 seed in their conference. Indiana Fever was the number 1 seed, and we knocked them off. We knocked them off. It got so crazy that a scheduling conflict came up, and they had to play their home games at the UIC Pavilion instead of the Rosemont Horizon because of a scheduling conflict, which knocked attendance down about 3,000 from 11 to 8. Even though Rosemont seats about 18,000, they closed part of the upper bowl until the playoffs. You want to talk about some lunacy? Getting into the game for the WNBA Finals, I saw it live.
So, okay, you saw it live. Okay, what percentage of the crowd was men versus women?
I would honestly say 65% were men.
That's the problem that you have, and that shows up in the stats. It's like 65 to 70% of the WNBA fans are men, and you're selling the game to women, not men.
Right.
That's the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Your problem is not men. Your problem is not men. The problem is women. Okay, and you got to see they have to, instead of trying to harass the NBA, because really what you want is the NBA to actually subsidize you and give you money. You know, as a PR campaign.
Right.
And if the NBA wants to do that, it's fine. I mean, the NBA has tons of money. They make billions of dollars around the world in marketing, and gear.
And they always have a plus side on profit at the end of each year. That's been the case since 1991.
Which is what the WNBA is begging for. But the problem, but the issue is the NBA knows that women don't want to see the game. That's the problem. And you 30 years, because I remember my sister could have played in the WNBA because all her friends were playing in it.
And there are 2 reasons. I know I can think of 2 reasons off the top of my head because I was told this. I can give you 2 reasons right now why the women don't want to see the game. 1, they don't understand it. 2, it's so weird for them to see fundamentally sound basketball.
Most women just show up to a NBA game for an event. Okay.
True.
And they go there because the men are there.
I can give you that. I covered women's college basketball for the majority of my career, which is now spanning 28 seasons. You're right. They show up there for an event, but there are a few that actually know and enjoy the game. A couple of them were my color commentators.
Too few. That's the problem. That's
and you're right. You're right.
We went way into the weeds with this, probably. So
So in other words, if they could get mass amounts of women to throw their money behind the WNBA, they'd make profit. But they don't. Yeah,
they don't like the game. The same reason that was the Madam Web failed.
Yep.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because they like Candace Parker and the other ones. When you talk about lowering the rim, they get heated.
They're athletes.
Listen, one of my good friends plays in the WNBA. Her name is Candace Parker. And by the way, BGS, your favorite black woman just came home from work.
Okay. Tell her.
Say hi. Say hi, honey.
Tell my sister I said hello.
Hey, BGS, your brother says hello, babe. Let me explain that one. One night I was on the stream with BGS and Charles and many others, and my wife, Jody, who just came in, thought that I was on camera like I am now, but I had the camera off. But she saw those blue lights. She's getting to know my equipment. She says, "Don't be showing my dirty ass house." And BGS took full advantage of it and said, "Are you sure you married a black woman?" He said, "Are you sure? Are you sure that's not a black
woman?" I sure did. Go ahead.
Nobody
Go ahead,
heard that and
Okay.
died laughing.
Yeah. Go ahead, Doc.
Okay, we only got BGS for a little while. Antoine, this is one of my Michigan football people. By the way, Snowman, I had to think about inviting you back, man, because I think you picked Alabama in the Rose Bowl.
I did. I
was thinking earlier today how good it felt that we won that national championship. But
you know what? I did. Wife and I looked at that game, and I said, you know what? I got to get Doc Dunbar back on.
Okay. Well, anyway, Antoine says, I know BGS. I haven't heard from him in a long time. He's still here, Antoine. And he says, I haven't heard BGS since the Manosphere was popping. He's still on and popping, Antoine.
The Manosphere is still popping. In fact, it's getting bigger.
Okay. All right.
It's getting bigger and it's getting better.
Yeah.
So that's the a few words about the WNBA, because that's, you guys know, that's creating a lot of buzz and a lot of
I don't know. I mean,
as well.
No, it's not angst. It's people really they're trying to talk about everything except what the real problem is. Women don't want to see the game. They keep blaming it on men, and it's a smoke screen.
It's a smoke screen.
Yeah.
It's
Same
a
thing.
smoke screen.
Which is the same thing that's happened to the NBA, right? They forgot that it's a sport and said it made it pure entertainment. And that's what's happening with the NBA.
Okay, I think that's a good segue. So let me bring up Jason Whitlock's statement one more time.
Oh God.
Jason has his detractors too. I think at least one is on the panel here. But anyway, he says the only way to fix American basketball is to shut down the NBA for a year or two and force a new system and pay structure on the players. 20 years ago, the NHL locked out its players for an entire season and radically changed its pay system. The NBA needs a similar fix. The league needs to work toward attaching a significant portion of pay to wins and losses. So I think that's something about load management. But I want to show you something really quickly. I saw this. I saved it. I haven't read it, but I was thinking earlier, as long as they're making profit, they're going to keep doing what they're doing. But this is interesting, Snowman. I don't know if you saw this, BJ. I don't know if you saw this. This article says, the title says, Gen Z doesn't care about sports. That's part of a bigger problem. So if they ever get to a point where they're not making profit anymore, then they'll be forced to make some changes. But the problems with the NBA, what's wrong with the product? Is it? I have a couple points here. Well, what do you guys, first of all, off the top of your heads, what's wrong with the product right now? Because it's the product.
Well, really, it's Stern. It started with Stern. Stern wasn't as bad. But the thing is, they started monkeying with the rules of the game and how the game was played to make it a more appealing product on the court. In other words, I had to blame Stern and Jerry Buss, right? It's because they made it more about entertainment, which made them a whole bunch of money. You know, can't say they didn't. Okay, it was more about the glitz, glamour, and drawing the casual fan in his eyeballs, right? So they had to monkey with the game to make it more appealing. You know, love Michael Jordan. The thing is, okay, the way the things they changed with Michael Jordan to let him handle the ball. Okay, when I was coming up, we couldn't handle the ball like that. I mean, Dr. Dunbar, I don't know, you might not have come up at that particular time, but the thing is, when I came up, you had to keep your hand on top of that ball.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
You had to keep your hand on top of that ball. You couldn't go to the side. Mike wasn't as bad. Okay. But they started letting Michael palm the ball and go to the side. It was entertaining. You know, he was the draw. They wanted to see him do spectacular stuff because that's what brought in the money. And then after that,
he was allowed to do stutter steps while dribbling, also, which takes three and four steps while he's dribbling, and you're only allowed two.
Yeah. So, BGS, what you're saying is that thing Michael did with the palming, that wasn't always allowed.
No. Exactly. In fact, it was controversy when he actually started doing it. Like, say, how you let Michael Jordan and these players get away with that? Because the rule was that if your hand was not on top of that ball, you know, within a few degrees, okay, it was actually called carry. Okay,
it was a carry.
Okay,
carry.
Adrian, I appreciate the super chat. He says, 2 questions for the panel. One, is the NBA at risk of being in trouble like it was in the 70s and 80s with fights and drugs? Will the NBA lose viewership like horse racing, hockey, and boxing? Everyone, from this point on, if you're going to donate something to this stream, please donate something. Donate to Snowman's Cash App. It's right here. Tall Man Dr. K50. So from this point on, please, if you're gonna, I appreciate it, but please send it to Snowman.
Yeah,
but
I'm going through a lot of health problems right now, and I need to help you guys. And thanks for throwing the cash out. Let me answer part one of those 2-part questions. Is the NBA at risk of being in trouble like it was in the 70s and 80s with fights and drugs? It's already in trouble.
I would say no.
Because
One is because you don't have the same kind of players. Okay. And the second thing is NBA was more like a regional game and more like a big city game, maybe even a national game. But the thing is, now NBA is a global game, and game players are much more afraid about what their brand is versus what's going on the court.
True.
Just trust me, like
both parts are very true.
I mean, fights. Okay, you just saw people get suspended for stuff that was like a daily occurrence.
Yep.
So no, they and drugs. Okay, they probably test the players more about drugs than they have at any time ever in the history of the game.
True.
So as far as fights and drugs, you're not going to have that. What you're gonna have, you go ahead, Doc.
No, I was thinking about that Kermit Fletcher, Rudy Tomjanovich punch.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was nasty, man.
That was, and you know, that's when I didn't want to get into the NBA after I saw that, and read the history of it. But Mom got me into the NBA in 1980 when Larry Bird and Magic Johnson showed up and slowly started saving the NBA. But I've done my research on that punch. And that punch carried a lot of power to it, man.
Yeah, and he ran into it, so there's a lot of force about him running into the punch.
Yes.
On top of that.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So we know that they rejiggered the rules. Isaiah Thomas has been very outspoken about that. They've certainly changed the rules for Michael.
Yeah.
And then it's gone even beyond that. The hand check is gone. That allowed AI to flourish, that allowed, Steph and Dame Lillard and all these guys to flourish. So they legislated contact out of the game, which was something as a kid. Well, even though the Pistons were beating up Michael, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that version of the game. Even the Lakers and the Celtics, they were all physical.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed.
Okay. What do you guys think about that was one thing, the formation of the super teams?
Man, okay. I will say this. You two have watched a lot more than I, i.e. the Buffalo Braves shirt, which I adore that logo because one of my favorite players was a Buffalo Brave. I believe the name Bob McAdoo comes to mind.
Yep. So
y'all have watched a lot more basketball than me. I got into basketball in 1980. The super teams were being drafted. The super teams, the real super teams were being drafted.
Yes.
Because like I said, I got into basketball in 1980. I knew about the trade of Abdul-Jabbar from the Bucks to the Lakers. But there was another trade that went down that helped the super team be informed that a lot of people won't talk about. His name is Robert Parrish. He was drafted by the Golden State Warriors. One trade to Boston. Then you draft Kevin McHale out of Minnesota. You draft Larry Bird out of Indiana State. Danny Ainge comes along out of BYU. And then they made another slick trade. And then they made another slick trade that people don't remember or research. His name is Dennis Johnson.
Yeah.
He led the Phoenix Suns to the NBA Finals in 1976. And then by 1984, he was in Boston.
Yeah.
Super team complete.
Yeah, I was thinking as I was going to work this morning that it used to be that you were those core groups were together for like a long time. Kind of like Snowman's, kind of like in baseball. You had the Yankees, you had El Duque and Derek Jeter and Bernie, and then you had the Red Sox. You had Big Papi, Nomar, Pedro, So these were groups of guys that were together that you were rooting for, and now it's just kind of like players are just kind of going
Where they
all
want.
there and
Yeah. That was after the
free agency.
The free agency after the lockout. I think it was 2010, 2011. That's when that started happening.
11. Yep.
Yeah. They negotiated freedom of player movement. You know, it used to be in control of the GMs and the teams, but now it's more in the control of the players.
Control of the players.
But do you think it was so the Celtics, KG, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, they did it first, but do you think like LeBron abused it and the rest of the guys just took it? And
Yeah,
just went crazy with it?
Yeah, it never stayed. Because you do regulation, right? Once it's passed, it always gets worse.
Yep.
People find a way to exploit it.
And LeBron started it when he left Cleveland for Miami. And a statement that he said when he was doing that ridiculous decision special, I'm going to take my talents and go to South Beach. That statement right there stuck with me. And it's like, what? You mean you're going to... I don't know. It's I'm glad I was doing a baseball game that night when I heard him make the decision.
Well, that's when it's evolved from shout out to Magic and Bird, okay, and but the thing is, when Michael came, it became a show, okay, it became a show rather than a sport. It's evolved from there, so now it's completely all about entertainment. That's how this All-Star game is so bad.
Oh gosh,
it's because it's they don't even take it serious. It's not a game anymore. Okay, it's about
it's not.
Can I look like a player at NBA 2K? Where I'm actually going to be get my highlights on TikTok and on YouTube and Instagram, where I can actually grow my brand, because really it's about the brand, and this sports has become. Individual players want to become billionaires.
Brand.
They want to be a brand.
They want to be a brand instead of being a player.
They want to be a brand instead of a player. That's what's going on with Russell Wilson in Denver right now. The Kardashians showed that if you can gather eyeballs, you can become a billionaire. That's what it's about now. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just thinking when the All-Star game passed by, and I was hearing, because a lot of fans were a little upset about it as well. Like, these guys, they're taking the day off. They're not playing hard. They're not playing defense. I was thinking the All-Star game used to be holy. It used to be. Yeah, you used to block that Sunday off and sit and watch, and they showed that, man. Yeah, and they captured that at the beginning of Hoop Dreams. Yeah. Both boys were sitting there in front of the TV, watching their favorite players, and it was exciting to watch.
Because even with Michael, even with that era, right? The players still want to be remembered as great basketball players,
right? Right.
And they took being a basketball player as an athlete and testing themselves seriously, right? Do they, you look at like people like John Morant and people like that, man, they don't take the stuff seriously anymore.
You can tell they don't take it seriously. You can really tell they don't take it seriously. No, more to the point, they don't want to take it seriously because they feel if they play hard, it's going to hurt their brand.
Yeah.
Someone actually said this to me in an off-camera interview. If they take it seriously and play as hard as they can, they are afraid it will hurt their brand. To Dr. Dunbar, there were some names that you said that I am very familiar with.
Okay.
Like Dale Ellis, like Mark Price, like Jeff Malone, and you were saying great point guards. Of course, Isaiah and Magic and Stockton are at the top of the list. Give you an underrated point guard, Kevin Johnson.
KJ, that's right.
KJ, yep. Another one, Michael Adams.
Michael Adams
spent time with the Denver Nuggets and also spent time with the Washington Bullets.
Right.
And yes, I said Washington Bullets.
Yeah. Or the Baltimore Bullets, or
the Baltimore Bullets, or the Tampa Bullets.
Yeah, whatever.
Anything like that. Y'all remember the Mavericks logo that had the hat on it?
Yeah.
Bring that back.
Bring that back.
Bring that. Speaking of point guards, Derek Harper.
That's right. I want to, while we still have BGS, I want to jump to something else. Everyone, please smash that like button. If you're new, please consider subscribing. And also, if you want to make a donation to tonight's stream, please donate something to Snowman's Cash App. Antoine brought up another hot topic in the chat regarding where is it?
That's on fire tonight, and I love it.
Here we go. Why do you think the foreign players are playing better than American players? They play fundamentally sound. So that's been another criticism, is that guys like Doncic and Jokic, they're coming in and go ahead, BGS.
That's part of it. The part of it is you've made American basketball into a European game. If you look at the old European style basketball game with the emphasize the 3-point shot, that's American basketball now.
It is.
That's not coming, so basically all the European players are doing is we're playing the same basketball that they've been playing since they were a little kid in Europe. And when they come to America, it's the same game. In fact, even more so.
The global game and the American game have switched roles and switched places.
Yeah.
They've switched roles and they switch places, because if you look at the players if you look at the bulk of the players in the NBA, they don't have their fundamentals down. And part of that is because of the one and done rule. I always thought when you went to college, you used all 4 years to make your game better. Unless your coach tells you you have nothing left to prove. Dean Smith, hello. Because at the time, Michael didn't have anything left to prove. 2-time ACC Player of the Year, 2-time National Player of the Year. And plus, as a freshman, it took something fundamental as a jump shot to win the national championship. So everything was right there for him, but it was a rare case. 3 years before, Isaiah Thomas, 1981. Bobby Knight told him, "You're ready." When your coach believes in you that much, you go. Again, 1980, and I've been watching ball since 1980, 1981 with Isaiah Thomas in Indiana. After they won the national championship at the Spectrum in Philadelphia, Bobby Knight told Isaiah, "You're ready. Go make it happen at the next level." 2 years before, Magic Johnson, 1979, after he won the national championship as a sophomore at Michigan State, beating Larry Bird's Indiana State team. Bird was a year ahead of him, but they came in at the same, academically, Bird was a year ahead of him, but they came in at the same time, 1979. What did Magic do in 1980? Oh, nothing. Just lead the Lakers to the world championship, winning it in enemy territory at the Spectrum, May 23rd, 1980, in Game 6, had 42 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists.
Yeah, but the thing is, one thing I want to say though about that is, guess how many championships did Magic win after Kareem retired?
Oh,
good one.
Wow,
good one.
Okay,
and the answer is none.
And there's none. There's a reason for that, because Kareem was a better player. Okay, and he was what the team was actually built around.
Wait a minute, BGS. So your contention is that Kareem was a better player than Magic?
Yes.
He had the most unstoppable shot.
Yes.
In history.
Defensively, rebounding, offensively. The thing is, when Magic got there, Kareem had already been in the league, 11, almost 12 years?
Yes.
Got to remember, Kareem retired when he was like 20 years in, with the most points in the league. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll give you a hint. His replacement plays for the Spurs right now. Wembanyama. Wembanyama. Yeah. That's Kareem. That's Kareem when he was young. Yeah.
And I initially said Wemby wouldn't amount to anything.
Really?
I was wrong.
When did you say that?
I saw that off of a few highlights that I watched, but then he got drafted by the Spurs, and I said, okay, he's in the right situation with the right coach, and I began to believe then. Then I had the pleasure of seeing him play in person when they played at Indiana.
Okay. You know how I could tell? Okay. The same way I could tell Magic, the same way I could tell Kobe, okay? Saw him in Summer League, okay?
Yeah.
When I saw him in the first game of Summer League, I said he's a Hall of Famer. right then and there. If he can move and he can do certain things at his size, okay, he's a Hall of Famer. So when the first game I saw him in the Summer League, I said, okay, that's when I knew. Everybody knew that Kobe was going to be a Hall of Famer his first game in the Summer League. Okay, same thing with him.
Yeah, I saw Wemby play in person, and I already knew. Well, I didn't already know, but I knew after that night that I saw him, even though the Spurs were blown out, that, man, this kid is it.
Yeah.
I saw him play. I saw him move. He's very graceful in his movements. He is very fluid.
But there's two things he does. He's fundamentally sound,
Yep.
and he does something that most play centers don't even do anymore. It's called play defense.
It's called playing. It's called playing back to the basket.
He'll get there. He's got to get up.
He's got to get some upper body strength.
No, he's got to back to the basket, and Doc will tell you back to the basket is about lower body strength, it's not about upper body strength.
Right.
You got to be able to hold your position,
right.
and you got to be able to move players around. So upper body strength is not going to do very much good underneath the basket.
That's legs.
That's leg strength and weight. Okay.
All right. So speaking of that, okay, what time is it? I want to make sure we make the best use of you, BGS. But I got it since you mentioned that. I got to slip this in.
Okay.
Back to the basket.
Yeah.
How come LeBron never did that more?
Because he's. May I answer that question?
You can. Okay.
May I speak freely within answering that question?
Yes.
Because he's too chicken shit to play with his back to the basket.
He's not chicken. He's lazy. He's not afraid. He's not. He's not afraid of anything because my son has the same kind of disposition that LeBron has. Okay. LeBron is just so gifted that he really doesn't have to try very hard. Okay.
Right.
And he works out just enough to hold his position. Okay. He's not like Michael was back when Michael first started shooting 1,000 jump shots in the gym. That ain't LeBron. LeBron could do it if he wanted to. Kobe was 100 pounds lighter and working on his footwork underneath the basket.
Yep.
Did LeBron do that? No. Why? Because he doesn't have to.
Well, here's another thing about Kobe that I adore, and my partner Cole Johnson said this on the show. His first playoff series, 1997, against Utah, he had a chance with 3 big shots, and he airballed them all. And he said, "Man, I got to get my lower leg strength back." Or he had to build it up. He figured out the problem and he solved it. He figured out this problem and he solved it. So to answer the main question of the night, is it time to stick a fork in the NBA? Yeah, but it won't happen. Why?
Too much money.
They're making too much money right now. B, the popularity is through the roof. And like BGS said, C, it's entertainment. People want to go there to see entertainment. And plus, D, one of the newest arenas is going to host the All-Star game next year, Chase Center.
Yeah.
In San Francisco.
Well, billionaires are purchasing NBA teams. That means
exactly
NBA is more. NBA is not a sport anymore. It's basically NBA is like the NFL. It's a brand. Okay.
Yep.
It's a brand to be sold for merchandise, for commercials, for all other kinds of stuff. It's a brand now.
And plus, they're negotiating the biggest television contract in history to split among 3 major networks. They're talking about $75 billion.
Yeah.
They're talking about $75 billion in their next contract, and it's going to be a 9-year deal.
Yeah, that shows you that the entertainment on the web, in media is garbage. Okay, especially for men. Men don't have any entertainment anymore. So basically, what little there is at a premium, and it's not just here. This is globally.
It is. And you know what the NBA is taking advantage of? Being able to have the game streamed, audio and video, audio and video. They're gonna try to monopolize the hell out of that.
Because entertainment and masculine entertainment is such hot garbage right now, right?
It is.
Look at ESPN.
Oh my God! I wish you had more. BGS, you and I need to team up when talking about ESPN. We need to do a stream about that.
Yeah, one, just schedule it, man. I'll get up in the morning and we'll do a whole stream
You got it.
about entertainment and
man.
sports, right? Entertainment and sports. We'll do a whole stream about it because trust and believe, man. I know what I'm talking about because
man.
because the billionaire Genie Bus knows who the hell I am. I cannot come on any Laker platform, right, and actually talk because
I know.
They'll get a call the next day and said ban him from your platform, otherwise I'm gonna cancel you. She knows who I am. So basically, I used to look at sports as a game, right? Over the last, I would say 20 years, I've gravitated looking at sports as a business, as entertainment. That's why I look at it. So I don't look at it the same way most people look at it, right? So when something happens and they can't make sense of it, I say all you have to do is look at the money. Like what is it? What's the Deep Throat said? Follow the money.
You can watch the action that gives you good pictures. You can follow the action. It's a line. It's a quote I'll never forget from the Two Jakes in 1990. You can follow the action that gives you good pictures. You can follow your instincts, which 9 times out of 10 will get you in trouble, or you can follow the money, which 9 times out of 10 get you closer to the truth.
If I'll tell you this, man, if it wasn't for the money, if players weren't trying to protect their brand, Draymond Green would not still have teeth. Okay,
exactly.
The only NBA, Draymond Green would not have teeth.
He would not have teeth.
No.
Okay.
And Draymond Green would not be playing.
And Draymond Green would know that he would not have teeth, and Draymond Green would not be doing all those little antics that he does. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna
go ahead.
Defer this one to Snowman. Everybody, once again, if you feel inclined to make a donation to the channel, send it to this Cash App. Tall man, Dr. K.
Wait a minute, what is it? That's why I hate to admit it, but BGS is right. Hey, give me my hashtag, Antoine. Give me my hashtag now. Give me my hashtag. I want I want my corners. I want my hashtag, Antoine. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, Snowman, I'm gonna send this one your way. Oh, where is it?
If he has to
oh yeah, here we go. Any comments about Zion? He was with the one and done from Duke. One of Coach K's last great players. Any words about Zion?
Okay, where do I start with Zion?
Go ahead. I'll follow you.
I listen. He blew out his shoe against North Carolina and did not play another college basketball game again. I begin with this question when it comes to Zion. What is wrong with this picture?
Okay.
If you think he's made some improvements, and I emphasize and capitalize the word some, but I believe he's playing out of position. And I also believe he's still not there yet. I mean, weight-wise, he still needs to come down. He's not that quick. He's not. I'll tell you what. I made a comparison with Zion, and a lot of people bristled at me at the comparison, but then they gave me my hashtag that I was right. I want y'all to look up the name Hasheem Thabit, who played at Connecticut. What was his main problem? No stamina. He couldn't get up and down the floor. I see the same problem with Zion.
Okay.
BGS, do you have anything on Zion?
Okay. Great body, wrong sport. Okay. In other words,
you go.
In other words, I mean, you're the doc. You probably had physiology at some point, doc. Okay. His knees, the way he's built, his hips are not built for the NBA. Not built for jumping up and down and that kind of impact, right? He would do better being a linebacker in the NFL. Okay.
Short bursts.
The way basically you're low to the ground. Okay. You're very strong, but the thing is, NBA is about jumping up and down, right? And and very hard on your feet, much like tennis is, right? Stopping and going, right? His body's not built for that. And
Nope.
everybody knows his body's not built for that. The thing is, he's such an exceptional athlete, they're willing to take a chance on him. But the thing is, I don't know, has he played a complete season yet?
No.
He can't, because his body, they said this at the very beginning, right? When they talk about his hip structure and his feet and his size, right? He said his body's not built for the NBA. The Lakers had a center, I'm trying to remember his name, right?
Andrew Bynum.
Andrew Bynum built just like that. Hell of an athlete, okay? They talked about his hips, they talked about his knees, and they talked about his build is probably not right for the NBA. Guess what? He had a knee problem every year. You know, they kept him just healthy enough for Kobe to win his last 2 championships, right? Because
after that, his career went down the drain.
He is, you know, I actually talked to Jimmy Buss. He said his problem is he wished if he could actually do it all over, he would actually have gotten Andrew Bynum a knee replacement, better knees, right? With better knees, he's been the last 20 years in the NBA. They probably would have won 3 or 4 more championships with him because he's that good. Okay, have you ever seen? Huh?
He was that good.
He was that good. He could jump. He could leap. He was strong. He was quick.
But he ran into the Dallas Mavericks in 2011.
But his body was gone by then. Okay.
Yeah.
Because the last championship they had to drain his knee every game for him to actually play, for them to actually win a championship. So he was pretty much gone. You know, Jimmy Buss would tell you it was his knees. Okay. I feel the same thing with Zion Williamson. Your body's not built for this game. And they're trying to, but the thing is, since he has a name, that's where we go back into the marketing. Okay, and back into the brand. Okay. Because I learned this from Jenny Buss. Okay. People buy tickets because of the name. And as long as he has a name, you got to keep him out there as much as possible. Okay. Because Kobe should have retired 2 years before he did. But the thing is, they had no other name to actually draw in the money and the tickets. Okay. So it's about entertainment. So Zion is still there about entertainment, even though his body cannot take that wear and tear of the NBA game. That's my opinion.
And he's not going to ever play a full season.
He can't. His body will not allow it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, since you mentioned Kobe, BGS, I saw a clip of Kobe on Twitter the other night talking about the coming effects of AAU. Do you guys think AAU helped ruin the development of American-born players? AAU basketball.
I think it has, is because, and this is somebody I'm coming from firsthand knowledge because my son played it. I think it has because they play too many games instead of practice. Okay,
agreed.
They need more practice, more work on their body than they did to be playing. Because my son was actually in like 3 AAU teams, right? So he played constantly because he was a good player. So my son at 15, 16 years old, high school, 2 AAU teams, and he played year round, and he probably played at least 3-4 games a week.
And to BGS, to your point, no practice. I would want to say no practice in between those games.
Very little.
There's the problem.
And that's the problem. That's the problem. You know, AAU should be regulated, and I think within the actual skills have kind of gotten up. The thing is, what has happened is they don't practice enough, so it's eroded all the skills of the players. So
you've seen it with basketball. I've seen it with basketball, and I've also seen it with baseball. With a lot of travel, travel baseball that I covered over 7 summers in Chicago. The kids are serious about just playing the game. The parents, however, want to see championships all the time.
And I think that there's too much money in the AAU, which is probably the issue with brands.
There's a ton of money in AAU,
and that's the problem. Okay, there's a ton of money in AAU. So basically, you're using the kids to make money. Because all those tournaments are big draws, especially during the summer, during the off time, like away from school and during the summertime. Those are big draws. Now, when I was coming up, and when you were probably coming up, Doc, summer was when you actually worked on your game.
Yeah.
Yes.
You weren't really playing that much. We actually out in the gym practicing, lifting weights, what you're working on your game. Instead of playing 3 or 4 games a week.
And like you said, BGS, you're working on your game.
Yeah.
You are constantly What's the work? Constantly working on your game.
Yeah, and then that's the issue that I see. Now I could be wrong.
Okay, I want to read this comment from Justin Jones. He's making some interesting comments here. He says, I went to one NBA game in my entire life. I flew from Kansas City to Denver to watch my favorite player, Carmelo Anthony. We paid $160 a ticket, and Carmelo was on the do not play / rest list. I don't know if that's the point in which we crossed over into the load management era. What do you guys think about load management? Has that hurt the NBA, or are players just being smart?
It's hurt. I don't think it hurt the players as much. I think it hurt the product more, and because a lot of your teams are about NBA championship or bust. That's where load management comes in, because the regular season is not the most important part of the season. Okay, it's postseason, so they're trying to save players for postseason, and then it goes back to that. To the what is it? The lockout, right?
Yeah,
or they can do that because David Stern wouldn't allow that stuff. Okay, for the most part. I mean, he allowed a little bit, but now now it's about marketing, and they've been complaining about load management for a long time, because fans do pay a lot of money to go see their favorite player, and when he's not there, then
they feel it's a waste of time.
If he cheated, they feel cheated, because that's because you advertise these players as part of your promotion. That's how you sell your players sell tickets, not the team. Okay. When your favorite player is not there, you, like you said, the brothers flew all the way in, spent all that money to see Carmelo Anthony play, and he was actually not. He wasn't injured; he was just load managed. Okay, which is not fair to the fans.
Okay,
because they don't really care about the fans in the stadium. They care about the eyeballs on TV and the TV contracts.
Yep, that's where most of the money is coming from.
I tell you about the Lakers. Jerry Buston managed that with the cable station, and the Lakers get $300 million a year just cable. Okay, off the rip before they sell ticket one.
Before they sell any tickets.
Yep.
It didn't matter if they were playing in the Forum or playing where they are now.
Nope.
Okay. James P asked an interesting question here. Have you guys noticed any difference in the officiating over the years?
Horrible. Okay, like I said, it started with it really started with Michael. Okay, when Michael handled the ball, it's a small thing. Okay, it's a small thing unless you're playing. Okay. Just the way you put anybody that plays basketball has to dribble, right? The way a crossover is much easier when you put your hand on the side of the ball. Okay,
it is
much easier. You can cross, a whole bunch of things when you actually place that hand on a different part of the ball. When you have to do a crossover, trying to keep your hand on top of the ball, it takes a lot of practice, takes a lot of work, and it restricts you a whole lot, right? Where with somebody with Michael Jordan size hands can actually can drive and cross over with the size hands that he has, because of the placement of the ball, he's impossible to guard.
And that's how Allen Iverson made his living.
Yes.
How do I describe the NBA officiating?
Do they officiate? The referees back in the day with the Harlem Globetrotters officiated better.
Here's my answer. And
that's terrible.
Remember, I think you played that as a short, right? When LeBron James picked up the ball 2 or 3 times and walked with the ball. Right from the refs.
Yeah. I played that, and then I played this.
What in the all types of blue hell?
I remember when LeBron James, this during the game, not during practice, during the game, right?
It was
the ball out, and he walked
across center court
with the ball,
and then started dribbling. And everybody's like making the signal, but they called nothing. The official was 10 feet away from LeBron.
Yeah.
10 feet away. And called nothing.
What is it? The step back, right? Okay.
Listen.
A step back is 1 step, not 6.
Exactly. James
Come on.
Harden.
James Harden. I
Here's
think-
what I think about the officiating in today's NBA play. And BGS, you'll love this sound.
What is that?
What
What the fuck is that?
you got to remember, you got the doctor, so you got to kind of clean it up a little bit.
That's
Okay.
a little humor there. Yeah. I don't know.
All right. Well, hey, I respect my PhDs, man. We try to keep it
Same.
as clean as possible. We
Same
sanitize
here.
things. So, got to protect the content creator, right?
Appreciate that.
But anyway, I think the refs are basically throwing in the towel, man. I'm gonna take my make $400,000 a year.
And walk.
Yeah, and hey, you know what? Hey, it's entertainment. If the NBA doesn't care about it one way or the other, guess what we're gonna allow? I'm not gonna care about either. I'm gonna take my check
And go.
and go. Yeah.
And go.
I mean, I'm getting almost $500,000 a year to actually watch these guys.
do whatever.
entertain.
Do whatever.
Yeah.
I'm getting paid $500,000 to do whatever.
And
You know what the refs have been saying? Because of that, you know what the refs are saying to the players?
I'm the juggernaut, bitch.
And what I don't like is starting to filter down into the college ranks. Okay,
It is.
that's
It's
what I
been
don't like.
filtering into the college ranks for a while.
Yeah, for a while, and that's why I pretty much gave up with Deion Sanders. I said, people kept talking about wins and losses. I said, y'all don't get it, man. You don't get what's going on with sports nowadays. It's entertainment. It's nothing to do with
Yeah, and a lot of people don't understand
you
that.
don't understand it. Yeah, I mean,
A lot of people don't understand that.
I'm not fond of by UCLA and US hometown college teams becoming part of the Big Ten. I'm not fond of that. Okay,
And
I'm not either.
I'm just thinking logistically, it's impossible.
No,
Because
no.
how the hell are you going to be a West Coast team playing in the Midwest and you're basically 3 hours behind time wise? What the hell is that?
It's called TV. Number one, it's called
Yeah, I know.
private jets. If you had to
I
go
know.
commercial, you wouldn't do that.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the thing is, it's gotten way too big. It's more about entertainment. I think sports in general has done that, right?
Yes.
It's more about marketing, and entertainment, and selling eyeballs and a brand. Okay. Hell, if you want to, why don't you invite what's your name? The winter Travis Kelce Dayton. Why don't you just invite her?
Taylor Swift.
It's Taylor Swift. Just invite her. Okay. And take all the Kardashians, all the Taylor Swifts, all the so-called hot girls, and just put them out front at every NBA game. Okay. Just go ahead and make it complete about entertainment.
I gotta do this as a joke only.
What is that? What the fuck is that?
I had to. I mean it as a joke only, BGS. I love you dearly, but that came to mind when you said that.
They're actually talking about NIL marketing, right? And for the college players. So basically, you bring in what the NBA already does down to the college level, right? So they're gonna be doing shoe deals and all other kinds of stuff, and they're gonna think more about the brand than about them, about the sport. Because all your athletes are entertainers now and brands now. They're not athletes anymore.
Is college football the last true meritocracy?
Oh,
No.
that's already gone.
That's gone already. When you allow the transfer portal where players can actually move from one college to the next because they want to.
That took care of that.
It took care of that. So and Deion, so if you got a magnetic personality like Deion, it's gonna warp everything.
Okay. I guess that's one of the reasons Harbaugh got out of there is because Harbaugh and Saban and all those guys.
Harbaugh got the fuck out of there fast.
Yeah, it's because they saw it coming. In other words, you compete hard, you recruit hard, you get a kid for 4 years, you train him, and he'll be gone the next year.
Listen,
why don't they just make college football like basketball, which is another thing that helped ruin the NBA, one and done.
I will give you two coaches in college basketball that saw this coming
Bobby Knight
4 years ago.
Okay.
And got the hell out of Dodge. Roy Williams, Mike Krzyzewski.
Yeah, because what also helped ruin both games, college basketball and NBA, is the one and done.
Mm-hmm.
Those kids shouldn't,
Should not even be close to
close to-
being done after 1
yeah.
year.
And that was a compromise between the NBA and the college basketball. It should be at best like with Bird and Magic, right?
Yep.
Minimum 2 years. Okay.
A minimum.
Minimum
And you
2 years.
You said the key word, BGS. You said the key word, minimum.
Yeah.
Minimum.
In NFL, I think it's still 3, right? NFL.
Yeah.
NFL is 3.
Yeah.
NFL is 3. Because the last set of seniors I saw drafted like all at the same time were
Mhm.
Greg Anthony, Larry Johnson, and Stacey Augmon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Fab Five came right after
That
them.
was 1991.
Yeah. So all kinds of they've abandoned sportsmanship and sports and developing players and the love of the game for profit and entertainment.
And
That's what
then
happened in the NBA.
and then to describe all that in a sound, this happened.
So that's how come if you look at your All-Star games and like the 70s, 80s, even the 90s, okay, maybe the 2000s, right? Different game, right? Look to this garbage that they showed last weekend. Okay.
I'm glad I was asleep.
I thought I didn't want to watch it because like 5 years ago I saw what was going on. I said, okay, this is my entertainment. I said I've given up. I barely watch the NBA anymore because it's so bad. Okay, what you have is like
Right.
you have 5 guys standing around the 3-point line.
You're gonna love this. Your sister talked me out of watching the All-Star game, BGS.
Oh, she did you a favor.
She did me a huge favor.
Yeah.
Because I sat here in my office and thought about it. She came in and grabbed me and said, "Baby, come to bed. You don't need to watch it."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Hey, how did you know?" She said, "I married a sportscaster." I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why Jokic is making a joke of the NBA because
Yep.
he's 300 pounds. He's 6'11", 300 pounds with good back-to-basket skills, and basically you have a wide open middle.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
nobody, and most of those guys can't play defense. So all he has to do is walk somebody down and throw a little half hook over them and walk back the other way. You do that every play.
That's it.
So, BGS, I know you said you had to run. I was going to open it up for a little while, but before you go,
Okay.
I don't know how much longer you have.
In 5 minutes, really.
Okay. If some of you guys want to come up and talk with us, I'm going to drop the link in the chat right now.
Bring it on.
No more titles for the Lakers in the near future.
I think they would need to do a couple things. The Lakers had their shot when they won the first title, right? Because they had the right team. They had a couple centers that could actually play center. They had a very balanced team, and they let LeBron play GM. It's a mistake. It's a mistake because Jeannie Buss loves it because she goes for names instead of a player position and team balance. Okay, and what they did, they blew up the team that won a championship, which is something that the rule number 1: you win a championship, got to give that team a chance to actually go back to back to try it again before you blow it up.
Wow.
They didn't do it. So at this point, LeBron's too old. Anthony Davis is when it was actually closing on him because of what is Anthony Davis? What, 30? Is he 30?
I believe it's 30.
He's 30. Okay, the one that's closing on him. Okay, and he's injury prone. So to actually build a team around him, it's probably going to be very difficult.
And he was a one and done.
Yeah.
Well, I know at one point the narrative was he was the future of that team, so he was going to eventually transition into the number 1 spot, and then LeBron would play a secondary role. But
LeBron doesn't play secondary roles.
Thank you.
That's number 1. Yeah, he doesn't play secondary roles.
Told this lie. BGS, before you go, there's a song that's in my mind that describes your relationship, if you want to call it that, with the Lakers.
Okay.
Use the troll.
Troll.
Use the troll.
Troll.
Use the troll. I said that. Use a troll.
And, the Laker management would probably agree with you because they say the same thing about me. Okay.
Wow, BGS, so they know you pretty well.
You know what? I can't. I used to be able to call in the Laker line. Or actually, I said something I probably shouldn't have said. I do this all the time, right? I said, I said, Kobe's shoulder is so bad that he cannot play back-to-back games. He probably should retire, right? That's what got me in trouble.
Damn.
Because it came out maybe a month later that his shoulder was actually irreparable. And basically, but they needed him to hang on because he's the draw. So that got me in trouble. That was the beginning of my fallout with Jeannie Buss and the Lakers.
In other words, in short, you actually spoke the truth.
I spoke the truth, yeah. And, you know what they do, truth tellers, right, Doc?
Yeah, that'll get you in trouble nowadays.
I can never thank Doc and Nicole enough for what they did for me during COVID, man, because I couldn't have done it without them.
Oh.
And I'm sure they probably took a couple of dents for it too. So I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart.
Well, it's fortunate YouTube restored my channel. You know,
I'm also talking about professionally too, because it's outside of what we do here. Yeah,
right.
So I can never thank you guys enough.
Yeah. Okay, everyone, I dropped the link. If some of you all want to come up and say a few words on this topic,
come on up.
I'll keep
I got a few minutes.
I'll keep the stream going a little bit longer. Anybody?
I wanted to get that song in for BGS before he leaves, because we did that when we were covering Colorado and Colorado State. Yeah. And BGS said the gynocracy is real, and I sang that song, and everybody, I think there was like 9 of us, on the panel that night, and they all were saying it.
I mean, basically, you have a coach that only won 4 games and becomes the Sportsman of the Year for Sports Illustrated. That tells you something. It's not about what goes on the field; it's about eyeballs and marketing. And that kind of stuff. So that's what it's become.
You got KP from KC. Hey, Snowman, quick question before KP goes. How come someone mentioned Carmelo? How come Carmelo never turned into a bona fide star?
He was lazy.
Yeah, true. He was.
Okay.
He was very lazy.
And he didn't play enough defense. And that was his issue. Yeah.
He didn't play enough at Syracuse.
Yeah.
I mean, you had a legendary coach in Jim Boeheim, and you didn't play with him for 4 years? You only played with him for a year?
I think the NBA, because you don't have a coach digging in your behind, that you have to have that internally. And that's what happens.
I mean, you win a national championship, and you don't want to go back to back. Why is that?
Well, he also had some run-ins with George Karl, right?
Well, George,
all those younger guys had run-ins with Larry Brown, George Karl.
Just came out,
old school authoritarian coaches, right? The father figures, right? And you have kids that don't want to work as hard, don't want to be the best in their position because they're comfortable. You're gonna have a run-in with your coach because he's gonna demand more of you.
Okay, KP, you want to say something?
Yeah, salute. How y'all doing, fellas? How you doing, BGS?
What's
How
up,
you doing,
What's going on?
Doctor? I ain't seen Doc in a while. You got the Buffalo Braves on. They don't know about the Bob McAdoo. Doc.
Oh, I remember Mac. I remember Mac and the Braves. I was back there.
They moved my Braves out to Los Angeles and San Diego.
Yeah, I had the throwback jersey when they came out. The Bob McAdoo. I remember that.
I saw him play. One of the best jump shots ever in the NBA. So
yeah, the league is really falling very far. The U.S. born players, the AAU thing, man. They don't hone skills anymore, and those coaches, like you just talked about, the Larry Browns, the George Karls, the Dean Smith tree, whoever's coming from Mike Krzyzewski now is probably that's like it's been socialized out of them, just like everything else. It's done with. That's why the foreign players are taking over. The top 5 players is probably foreign guys if you look at it. Jokic, Luka, Embiid is a foreigner. I mean, who else? I mean,
big boy in Milwaukee.
Shai Alexander is from he's from Canada. So like it's over, man. It's over. The league isn't what it's the NBA's gone global. And the Black American player is probably going to be left behind because of AAU unless they change AAU. They got to change AAU. That's the only way they're going to have a competitive shot.
And unless they get their fundamentals down pat.
Yeah.
They don't want to work on their. I've seen it up close. They don't want to work on their fundamentals.
No, they just want to dribble the ball, and go 1-on-1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
and not run a play.
Yeah, not run a play. Right. It's embarrassing to watch.
Listen,
it's really embarrassing to watch. I can't watch it.
Let's look at all the old school coaches. And Doc is going to love me for the list I'm about to give him. Mike Fratello, Casey Jones, Pat Riley, Phil Jackson. Let me think. Wes Unseld. I'll go back as far as Red Holtzman when it comes to the Knicks. All right. Bill Fitch. Rudy Tomjanovich. Hubie Brown. Of course, Hubie Brown.
Now, you know who I think really clashed with him? White Chocolate. He really clashed with Hubie Brown. I was watching his documentary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
and I think Skip Malou was on the Nuggets with George Karl.
Yep,
he was.
And George Karl ripped him to shreds.
And you know what, Snowman and Doc, that seems to be the style of most of the guys when you look at it now. Like Skip Malou and Jason Williams were rare.
Oh, you know? Antoine, how could I forget this legendary coach, Chuck Daly?
Yeah, Chuck. Yeah,
Doug Moe, Billy Cunningham. I already mentioned Pat Riley. Pat Riley and Billy Cunningham clashed twice in the World Championship Series. And you know what? BG has talked about marketing, and it's so true. The first hint I got of that was 1986 when they changed from saying the World Championship Series to the NBA Finals. Now, riddle me this. Which one do you think would have the most luster? Saying this is the World Championship Series or saying this is the NBA Finals?
Do you think they changed the name of it because they was trying to get away from being so close to baseball?
You know what? I'm going to say yes. Because the last time they used the term World Championship Series was 1985.
Yeah. That makes sense because they probably were trying to get away from the wording of baseball because baseball was still so big at that time.
Yeah.
Basketball didn't kind of overtake baseball until Jordan kind of took over.
Until Jordan showed up.
Yeah, when Jordan. Go ahead.
You're saying it used to be called the World Championship Series?
It used to be called the NBA World Championship Series.
Man, I was little.
It used to be called the NBA World Championship Series. I have the years 82 through 85 on my computer.
Dang.
It was called the NBA World Championship Series.
LeVar says, and then we're going to pass it to our latest guest. He says, do we need to put some blame on the NBA coaches for not instructing their players to put more effort into defense? I think that's hard. It's a systemic thing. If they're not coming in trained and malleable to do that, then at that level, being paid the salaries they're paid, they're going to resist. I'm going to drop down for a second. You guys go ahead.
Hey, but Doc, I wanted to tell you this. Have y'all noticed when Rasheed Wallace comes out and speaks now, he talks about how the NBA basically legislated defense away after the second Bad Boy Pistons team.
They did.
With Rasheed and Ben Wallace. They legislated it away.
Ben Wallace, Chauncey Billups.
That's why, Snowman, I don't care to watch it because I know if LeBron scores 30, it's because he doesn't have to play against any defense. Dude. Just imagine Karl Malone against no defense, bro.
Don't get me started.
This is ridiculous, man. I don't like it. Just because he scored all those points, he scored them because he played for 20 years. And when's the last time you seen him go to the ground? And he's the biggest guy on the floor. Like, bro, Anthony Mason, Charles Oakley would have beat him up, bro.
Oh, man, you're bringing back some memories. Anthony Mason,
beat him up on the floor, bro. Snowman, he would have walked to the thing crying, bro.
Exactly. Bill Laimbeer,
Yeah,
James,
Mahorn would have put him on his butt a couple of
James.
times.
Hey, here's some names for you, Doc. Rick Mahorn, James Buddha Edwards.
Well, you know what? When I
knock
tell
LeBron on his ass.
when I tell guys I would love to have seen LeBron play against those guys, I get like shouted down, like, "Oh man, they wouldn't have
Same
been able
here.
to guard LeBron. They wouldn't have been able to do this."
Same here. I said the same thing. I've said it so many times on my morning show, and I get the same response. I know
Snow.
what I watched, and I know what I was spoiled by, which was
Man.
actual basketball.
LeBron
all
wouldn't have
that
been able to
crying they
guard
do-
Daryl Dawkins or Moses Malone.
Or Moses.
Man.
Thank you, Trouble Man. Or Moses
facts.
Malone. Oh my gosh.
All the crying they
Moses
do
Malone.
now, man. Those grown ass men would have ran them off the floor. They would have
Easy.
ran them off the floor, man. Those
Listen.
guys are like, it's like watching two-hand touch now. That's
I
what the
posed
NBA is.
I posed a question to my partner on my morning show and to the chat one morning. We were talking about our favorite NBA World Championship Series moments. I said, how many times did you think Lawrence Tanter, who was the longtime PA voice of the Lakers, got sick whenever he had to say Moses Malone's name? If you find the games, you can listen carefully. Every time Moses touched the ball against Kareem and he put the ball in the basket, his voice got lower and lower and lower and angrier and had more angst because he had to call Moses Malone's name. Because in '83, when the Sixers met Philadelphia, the Lakers led at halftime in every single game of that series and lost all 4 games.
Wow.
So every time Malone faced off against Kareem and he found his way to the basket, you just hear a low-tone Lawrence Tanter go like he's gritting his teeth going, Moses Malone.
He's dying a little bit inside him with every basket.
And the bad part is it wasn't Moses that sealed game 4. It was Julius Erving.
It was Julius Erving. Yeah, it was Dr. J.
With a God, I'm gonna say it, jump shot.
Yeah, he wasn't known for that.
Hey, hell, go blue there, Doc. I've been meaning to say that to you for a while. We both Michigan dudes.
Okay, well, I appreciate. Yeah, I see the 313.
Yep. And I was up there at the beginning of the season, the week before the first game, where they were getting everything set up, for national TV and everything, and the construction. So you could kind of walk into the stadium without nobody knowing until they got the chain links and stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I don't know what it was, but when I did that, and I had just come from the deli too, so I got my sandwich in hand, and I'm walking in there. And that day, before one ball was snapped, I knew. I was like, you know what? These dudes are going to win a championship this year. And this is before the first game of the season, man. It was the week before the first game. For some reason, it was like divine providence, man.
I had a chance to see College Game Day in Indianapolis before the first ever Big Ten championship game. And I wanted to be a part of it, but then I saw the crowd coming. I said, no, thanks. I'll hide here in Starbucks until they dissipate.
Yeah. I don't need to go to a game at the big house anymore. You do it once, that's enough for me. It's too many people.
Exactly. You know what I did that day when I was in Indy? I was supposed to meet a friend there. Didn't meet the friend there. So I had nothing else to do that day. And College Game Day, like I said, was downtown right at Lucas Oil. And I wasn't that far away from Lucas Oil. I said, I'm not going through that crowd. Guys looked at me and they said, you don't want to be a part of that? Hell no, I don't want to be a part of that.
Okay, hold on a second. Let's see, everybody. For the duration of the stream, if you want to make a donation, please donate to Snowman's Cash App. It's right there. Tallman Dr. K50. Thank you, D Sky Valley, for this super chat. He says they took hand checking and they took the shot blocker off the floor
with the
evolution of the stretch big, which allows guards to go untamed. Not fun to watch. High pick and roll all game. Okay, we're going to come back to that. You guys were talking about the Big Ten championship game. I actually went to last year.
The hell did you do that for?
I went to Lucas Oil. Yeah, that was. Yeah, it wasn't the same as going to the Big House. That's a beautiful building, Lucas Oil.
Yeah,
but it wasn't the same.
I've done 3 college games. We're all the Circle City Classic at Lucas Oil Stadium. So it's a beautiful building. For me, as a member of the press, to be there, it was fun. It was fun. And they say a black broadcaster can't conquer big stadiums. I've conquered Soldier Field. I've conquered Lucas Oil Stadium. I've conquered the United Center several times. So, been there, done that, got the T-shirt.
Been there, done that. Okay.
Yeah, I do have the whole plan was for me and my dad to go. We kept saying if they're gonna do it, we're gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just the way that it happened. I wound up having to have surgery. So man, I had a couple of holes in my stomach, and I had to have the only way to fix them is to sew them up.
Yeah,
and it was right at that time.
That had to get taken care of first.
Listen, I was down for a whole month, man. But the plus came out of it was I moved in with my parents while they took care of me, and I got to hang out and watch all the games with my dad from the Big Ten title game all the way to the championship, man.
Look, I understand about being tied down for a while. Pancreatic cancer tried to get me,
man.
And
I don't know what it is.
And we kicked his ass.
You kicked his ass. Can't say it better than that.
And I say we because the prayers I got from you guys, the good wishes, of course, my family, my wife and my children, and my grandchildren. That's why I call it a team victory.
Team victory.
April 4th, 2022, I had the surgery done at IU Med Center, and February 15th, 2023, so a year plus ago, I was told I was in remission.
Oh man.
So Trouble Man, Doc, we beat its ass.
Okay.
We beat their ass.
Take them blessings, man.
Let me run to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah. So Trouble Man 313. Yeah, I went to the East Carolina game. Did I expect that they would win the national title on the first game? No, I didn't expect that. And then, it was an up and down season, especially when all those allegations hit.
Yeah, and you know what? You know what's so rotten about that?
What's that?
Is the Big Ten is like shooting itself in the foot. You know what I mean? If Michigan's good and Harbaugh's there, that's good for the whole Big Ten. I didn't quite get what the hell was going on. Some kind of weird power trip thing. Because it's okay. So you're gonna suspend the guy who has the best opportunity to represent you in the national title game, and it's got so bad that he goes out, he wins it after being suspended 6 times, and you get up there and you know you're gonna have to. Are you going to present the trophy to him? You know what I mean? No, did they not like think this through to the end? The person you went after suspending, you got to turn around and hand him the the Big Ten trophy. And I watched that, and I saw that they didn't do it either. I saw that Harbaugh sent up a player to get it, and then once he got it, he got leave, and then he went up. That was funny as hell, man.
I think Petit give it to Zinter. Everyone, we're taking a quick detour from the NBA just while Snowman comes back. He had Petit to give it to Zinter, but it was a sweet and poetic finish. The fact that he missed those last 3 games and he got to go to win the Big Ten again and win the national title. So it was sweet to see that.
It was, man. It was just crazy, and I don't know. I put it in the chat. I don't know if anybody had a chance to see those replays, because I know most of us don't watch too much basketball no more. But when I saw that replay and I saw people talking about it, I had to watch it. And we literally had a football tackle on the court to decide at the end of an NBA game.
Okay.
And the ref was standing right there.
That was the Pistons and the Knicks?
That was the Pistons and Knicks like a couple days ago, just a few days back. The guy, the Pistons young player, steals the ball and headed back up the court. And so the guy just ran and jumped in his knees and knocked him down, turned the ball over. They go down, they score the last bucket and win the game. I've never seen that. And I watch Bad Boys, but I ain't never, the Bad Boys would hit you and know you got hit, throw you down. I never saw a tackle, like somebody running, trying to tackle a running back and take their legs out from under.
Yeah,
on the NBA court.
I feel like I saw that replay as well.
It was bizarre. That was some bizarre thing. And I was like, I needed an explanation. And then I think they came out the next day and they went like, my bad. Our bad. The ref said they missed the call. I'm like, you missed the call. That didn't seem missed. That seemed intentional. And if that's the way they going nowadays, I don't even know if it's going to be entertaining. I don't know if that's going to be like he was saying earlier, still entertainment. I still want to see it. Let me see how it play out.
It's amazing how it's fallen from where it was. But I hate to say it, but it feels like sometimes that's our country in general. A lot of things have fallen from what they used to be. I mean, we're in the sports realm, so I don't want to bring us down. But I'm just saying, in general, it seems like a lot of things have changed, not for the better, since I was a young guy. Toya the Tutor has stopped through. Thank you, pretty lady, for coming through. We appreciate seeing you. Michael says something interesting here. He says, wow, he says OSU has self-imposed sanctions. Okay, so we got some more Big Ten football news to report. Antoine says, Doc, here's something for your panel to think about. What do the Pistons and the U of M have in common? The media don't like blue collar teams that play defense and knock them down. Okay, yeah. Justin says, I think the ref's eyes were on the sideline, not on the players on the court. If you watched the replay, the ref is looking straight down. Okay. And Justin says he was making sure nobody touched the ball and stepped out since there were 3 players on a sideline.
The difference is one player already had the ball. That's the difference, though. The refs got to do better, man. They got to watch the play. He can't just be staring down. If one player already has the ball after he stole the ball, so they have possession. It doesn't matter if he's in the middle of a dribble or not. I know that was somebody else's argument too, but I'm like, so what you're saying is if anybody is dribbling, you have the right to run whenever the ball is going down towards the floor instead of their hand while they're dribbling. You have the right to just jump them. That's not a. I don't think that's cool. I think they just didn't call it because the Pistons are a bad team this year and they just don't care. Refs aren't good in all sports at this point, especially basketball and football.
Right. Side Real says NBA refs don't enforce travel or offensive fouls. Okay. Hey, well, you're a Michigan guy, Trouble Man 313. I was there in grad school when the Pistons won that title against the Lakers. So that's something. 05? The 04-05 thing, and that's something that I think none of us. Well, I didn't expect that. I was hoping the finals wouldn't get embarrassing, but the Pistons beat them 5-1.
See, I had season tickets that year and the year after. Yeah, I had season tickets. I was there, man. And I'm gonna tell you, the first Lakers game, the game where the Lakers won. Well, technically the Lakers won that game, but that was after that game. I knew the Lakers won't win any more games. I knew the Pistons had it then. That first game of the finals, because I was like, oh, they're bringing these superstars in. They done built this super team up, and then I saw them play because I was there. I had tickets and I was watching it and I could see them play, and I'm like, ooh, these guys ain't our guys. Were so much better in person watching them play in those last 3 games. Last 2 games. They won 4. They won 3 out of 5. Was it 4 out of 5?
They won 4 out of 5.
Yeah, it was 4 out of 5.
So the Pistons took the first game, and then Luke Walton hit that buzzer beater in the second game, and then it was just a wrap after that.
And it was a wrap. Yeah,
Kobe and Shaq, they were feuding, number one, and then Karl Malone was playing on one leg, Gary
And
Payton
then-
didn't understand the triangle.
He didn't understand it at all.
That was
And-
just a bad.
It was just and I didn't really. You realize how gifted athletically Ben Wallace was at the time.
Ben Wallace.
It was
Yeah.
crazy the way he was. He didn't have to stop Shaq. All he had to do was put second doubts in everybody else's mind. They knew they had to deal with something.
Right.
And and Shaq never expected that he had to play defense on Ben Wallace. He never expected Ben Wallace to come out and hit him with like 6 straight J's on him, and make him.
Yeah.
Nobody did,
Well, they all played above themselves, and they played a stellar series. Chauncey, Rip, Tayshaun, none of them were afraid of the Lakers.
They were not afraid of him, man. And I have to agree with him now to this day. I understand Carmelo Anthony being a little salty about not getting drafted. I didn't know that he had came up to Detroit and everything. I didn't know that. Did you hear him tell that story?
No, I know they took Darko.
Yeah, but he found out about it. First, they promised him the gig, and he found out about it. He said, "Well, let me go to Detroit, him and his boys, and find this Darko dude and work out and get the Pistons to watch him so he can get drafted by them." But they couldn't find him, and the Pistons thought that he was trying to do something else, so they didn't tell him where he was either. And yeah, these Carmelo's. It's on YouTube. He was pretty much told they was drafting him, and he didn't have to come work out. And so instead, he found out that they was working out Darko, and Darko was actually in Detroit. I had no idea that Carmelo was in Detroit. He hopped on a plane and got up there, man. He wanted to be a Piston so bad. I had no idea. I never knew that. And he said he was salty for the Pistons ever since. Him and Joe, he won't say Joe Dumars' name. I don't know if you noticed that. He never says his name.
No, he won't.
Like he refused to say his name.
Oh wow! So
Because Joe, he promised him, and he broke his promise to him. So
wow,
that was a Joe Dumars call.
Well, I'm sure to this day it's probably something Joe regrets because Darko never panned out.
Oh yeah, and can you imagine what they would have been for the next 4 years with Melo on that squad?
And the following year, right after they won the championship, they went back to the finals and went 7 games with San Antonio.
And the thing that disappointed me about that is that was like neither team was like that much better than the other one.
Right?
No, they were even.
It came down to Rashid leaving, Big
Leaving,
Shot
Big Shot
Bob on the
Bob.
3-point line.
Yeah,
And that's what helped turn that series.
As you guys know, I'll start the question you finish. I'll start the phrase you finish it. The most dangerous a man on an inbounds pass is
Robert Horry,
the man who's making
the man who passed the man who put the ball in, right?
The most dangerous on an inbounds play. The most dangerous player is the man who's inbounding the ball.
Who's inbounding the ball? Yeah.
And Robert Horry exposed that. He's done that several times. But
How many
against
championships he got before
7.
he retired?
7.
Jesus.
Yep.
He earned them though too. You can't say
he earned every single one of them.
Yeah, you can't say he was just somebody riding a bench.
He earned every
title.
He earned every single one of them. In that game 5 at the Palace, all he did was drop a simple bounce pass in. Nobody went back to him, and he was wide open for that game winner.
Yeah, that was Rasheed Wallace left him.
Yep.
That was Rasheed Wallace guy. Now they both almost had the same game, so why he left him? I just can't get that out of my head, man. That was 2. We should have 4 right now.
Yep. And at that point, the Pistons they had to win one of the 2 games on the road in San Antonio, and they couldn't get one of them.
They couldn't get one. Yeah, that was when the whole Ginobili Euro step thing was like he could take 18 steps, and
that's when
Oh God, man, that Euro step pisses me off. To this, listen. I've seen players travel before. Like I said, I got into basketball in 1980. All right. It was called every time. Then Manu showed up.
Manu
invented a step that the referees allowed to happen. LeBron James, hello.
Yep.
Find the lie.
I still ain't figured out what I'm like. Well, what is it? Is it one dribble for every 4 steps? Is that what it is?
I gotta say something. After I saw Manu bring that into the NBA, I quit.
Yeah, his thing was the dribble and those long steps right to the basket, right?
Yep. And they allowed the Euro step into the NBA. After I saw that, I said, "Fuck y'all, I'm out." I couldn't watch.
Because
I
at this
couldn't watch.
at this point, there's no way to stop what's his name up in Milwaukee from getting to the basket except when he get tired.
Giannis.
Giannis. His distance in his legs, if he can Euro step like that at 7 whatever he is, 7 feet even, and strong and fast as hell, if he could and dunk whenever he want to, I mean, of course he's gonna be in the Final Four games every year. Final Four teams.
Absolutely.
As long as the Euro step is in there, I see him. He starts at the top of the key, and starts almost at half court. He starts running down there and take 3 or 4 steps.
And takes 3 or 4 and takes one dribble. The next thing you know, 3 or 4 steps later, he's at the rim, and you're wondering how the hell did he get 15 feet to the rim in steps?
That is insane.
Or he had a dunk a few plays earlier that hurt the Pistons, and that came on a bad shoulder. That was in regulation, game 5, and that came on a on his bad left shoulder. He went left hand. He had a left-handed dunk, and I think it was over Ben Wallace. I think it was over Ben Wallace. But to Trouble Man's point, tell me how. Look. Giannis is cool. Don't get it twisted. All right. But tell me how the hell does a player get 15 feet to the basket in one dribble? In one dribble. Exactly.
If he take one. Because sometimes he don't. Sometimes he just run down there and dunk it when somebody passes to him and they don't say that.
The ball. What did BGS talk about earlier? What a palm is? What a palm is?
Look at the size of his hands, man. They should make him play with a bigger basketball if he's gonna do that.
But they won't, because a lot of players will be crying foul. Hell, they're crying foul. They're crying foul now. Who do you think cries foul the most? He wears number 23.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say LeBron. That's just.
I got a question here.
And everybody follows his lead, man.
Who will win Rookie of the Year? Chet was fast out of the gate, but Wemby is breaking records already.
It's Wemby.
It's Wemby.
It's Wemby.
Marketing alone.
Listen, marketing will get him the award. He's improved his play. He's got the correct coach in Greg Popovich. It's a lock. It's a lock, and it's a landslide.
Yeah.
Besides, Chet gets hurt too much.
Yeah, he ain't no slob, but he get dinged up.
Okay.
You give him one good elbow, and he's sitting out for a while.
Okay. Well, we're gonna hang out for about 18 more minutes. I'm gonna ask this question. So Snowman, you guys just talked about your favorite player. Do you guys think that him being made the face of the league also has contributed to the league kind of falling?
Hell yes.
LeBron?
Yeah.
Hell yes.
They all follow his lead. Yeah.
Because the transition was the NBA thought that the transition was supposed to go from Kobe to LeBron. Guess what? Steph Curry intercepted that when he showed up, and it pissed him off.
Oh. So you're saying LeBron was a little salty about Steph coming and winning some titles and
a little. Come here. See the size of this?
Mm-hmm.
Fill it with salt and put it on LeBron's shoulder. That's how salty he is at Steph for intercepting what is supposed to be his era.
Wow.
Period. Because they have the same number of titles, although Steph will retire with more, I think. But come on. He's a shitty ambassador. Thank you, Antoine Jackson. He's a terrible ambassador for the game. Terrible. Because he makes it all about him and not all about the game.
Mm-hmm.
Find the lie.
I was always looking for him to have more of a killer instinct. And he never seemed to show that killer instinct.
Because he plays like a chicken in crunch time. Period. I mean, he always wants to take the final shot. If people applaud him for making the correct basketball play, there are times he does make the correct basketball play. Don't get me wrong, but There are times when he is just supposed to be that killer everybody says that he is, and he ain't. I mean, open your cards. Open your cards. You named some killers. Dale Ellis, Michael Cooper.
All right. How about
I ain't gotta say Michael Jordan or James Worthy.
okay, I got
Wow,
Rob
did you say
Strickland
the
here.
Rifleman?
Dale Ellis,
Dale
Byron
Ellis?
Scott,
Byron Scott,
Reggie Lewis. He died a little
Reggie
too
Lewis,
early.
Reggie Miller.
Um,
Do I need to say those kind of? Do I need to say those kind of games?
Kevin
Okay.
Johnson, Reggie
Yeah.
Miller.
KJ, Reggie Miller. Thank you. You want stay with it? Let's stay with the Indiana Pacers. I'll tell you the name. I'll tell you the name of a killer that a lot of people don't give credit to. His name is Chuck Connors Person.
Ooh, Snowman.
Ooh, yes, a deep cut right there.
Let me
I forgot
see it.
about him.
Let me see it. Let me see it. Bingo. The rifleman himself.
Went toe to toe with Larry Bird several times.
Out of a 6'8", 220 out of Auburn, Chuck Person. How's that for a killer name? Give you another one. Brad Daugherty. He was a killer in the post before back problems took him. So don't tell me this league is full of killers right now. There you go. Number 43, Brad Daugherty.
Man, okay, I feel like
You're bringing back memories with that card collection, man. Because
I was
had
just gonna say, I feel like I could
the
call
ones
him
I got
and
here.
he gonna have it. You get everybody?
Okay. Well, he's already said Dale Ellis, and Lord, I remember Dale Ellis. I'll give you a
Snowman, hold on. What you
Yes.
know about Jack Sigma?
Illinois Wesleyan, baby. Started his career.
Snowman knows his sports trivia. Yep, Illinois Wesleyan.
Out of Illinois Wesleyan, 7 foot tall. Started his career with the Seattle Supersonics.
Man,
I'll give you a name. I'll give you the name of a forward who was a killer, but will never get enough credit because and all my haters will tell me that I'm wrong when I say this guy was better than LeBron James. His name, Thomas Dwayne Chambers.
Pearl Washington.
Ooh.
Dwayne the Pearl Washington out of Syracuse. Number 31. But yeah, the one player that I started with that I'm saying is as a forward, fundamentally sound forward that's better than LeBron James. His name is Tom Chambers. How do you like them apples?
Chambers.
Out of Utah.
Wow.
What about
6'10" out of Utah.
Yeah, I remember him.
Had a good career in Seattle, had a great career in Phoenix.
Yeah, he wound up in Phoenix.
Phoenix is where he blossomed because he got to play with Kevin Johnson and later Charles Barkley.
Snowman, what you know about the most maligned Clipper of all time, Benoit Benjamin?
Benoit Benjamin out of
Creighton.
Creighton. Number 00. Used to get his ass kicked in the post by little people all the time.
Y'all ain't right.
All right, I'm gonna do a few
Am I
more.
wrong? Trouble man, find the lie.
No lies spoken so far. I think the league is super soft too.
It's softer than ice
out
cream. Listen, it's softer than my favorite ice cream, which of course is chocolate chip cookie dough, as my wife knows.
I'm going to do a few more. So Del Harris coached the Bucks before he coached the
Del
Lakers.
Harris.
Phil Jackson took over.
Del Harris.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
They just couldn't get past
And
the
Donnie Nelson before him.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he got the cards and they organized.
You know what? Listen,
Bro, when these came out, man, I was getting packs of these things.
You and me both. I'll tell you the name of a forward that is fundamentally sound and better than LeBron James. His name, Buck Williams.
Williams.
Oh,
I forgot about him.
Out of Maryland.
Bruh.
Williams,
Number
man.
52.
You are conjuring these guys up.
Bring it on. There you go.
Buck Williams.
There you go.
Buck
In a
Williams.
Nets uniform, damn it.
Hey, I got one more. Somebody probably, if they played today, they'd go to jail. Jerome Kersey. They'd arrest him for what he do down
out of Longwood College.
How do you know these things?
6'7" out of Longwood College. Number 25, one of my favorite forwards.
Charles Shackelford.
Shackelford, yep, North Carolina State. Terry
This is the late 80s, man.
Terry,
late 80s.
Late 80s.
The numbers going down, but hey, guys, we're almost finished.
Okay, Antoine, bring it. Terry Porter out of Wisconsin, Stevens Point. Clyde the Glide out of Houston.
Terry Porter. Oof.
Terry Porter.
Man, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna sound like a homer, but honestly, I believe Grant Hill was way better than LeBron is now. I believe that.
If injuries didn't take his it didn't shorten his career. Well, I agree. He's fun. He's much better than LeBron.
I go back. I look at some of those videos. The quickness he had, just going and the authority in which he dunked the ball and stuff, and his eyes on the court. I'm like, if I could have my choice, I
got one for you. 6'9" out of DePaul, and thank you, Antoine, for this. TC Terry Cummings.
Oh,
Kelly Tripucka out of Notre Dame.
Kelly Tripucka. Terry Cummings was my dad's favorite.
His career with the Pistons before he went to Charlotte.
I'm gonna do one or two more. What do you guys know about Frank Burkowski?
Oh, Frank Burkowski, come on.
Yep.
Number 43 played
Penn State. He's a Big Ten guy.
Yep, Penn State.
If Terry Cummings played today, he wouldn't be allowed to play. They'd probably call the cops on him after every play.
Look, they'd arrest Terry Cummings. They'd arrest Jerome Kersey. They'd arrest Buck Williams.
Buck Williams, he'd be locked up today.
What's the phrase? Listen, what's the phrase? Don't fuck with Buck.
Yep. He'd come up there. He'd come for battle, man. He'd be dressed back
with Buck. And
had him goggles on, ready to go.
You know what the NBA needs to do? The NBA needs to tell Oklahoma City, fuck a whole lot of you. We're sending this team back home where they belong. Seattle.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna end this with
Find the lie.
I'm gonna end this since y'all brought him up. Jerome Kersey.
Longwood
College right there.
Jerome Kersey.
The Doom.
Yep, Longwood
College. Longwood Lancer.
And I'm gonna take us over to Germany with the Detlef Shrimp.
Out of Washington.
Detlef Shrimp. Yep.
Detlef Shrimp, number 11, out of Washington.
Number 11.
If you pull a Terry Cummings out of that bag, I'm done.
See, now you're gonna make me look for Terry Cummings. We got 10 minutes left. You made me look for Terry Cummings.
Oh, go.
See, I don't have all of them because the thing is, you had to get the cards. You had to buy several packs of cards.
Yes.
To get the whole set.
The set.
And sometimes you got all these doubles. Do I have a Terry Cummings here?
And they're doing cards again. Now they're doing cards inside of cards.
Oh, thank you, Antoine. Chris Mullen out of St. John's.
Oh, the first deep ball. The lefty 3-point shooter. 3-pointer, yeah.
The lefty shooter that made that Run TMC team in the early 90s. And if you don't remember Run TMC, it was Tim Hardaway, Mitch Richmond, and Chris Mullen.
And Chris Mullins. And if the second guard in Golden State really wanted to fix his game, he'd start watching some of him.
Yep. Mark Price out of Georgia Tech.
So here's the guy Orlando tried to replace Shaq with. Ronnie
Cycli out of Syracuse.
Oh, yeah. I remember him.
Out of Syracuse.
Yeah. He was down in Miami for a while, too.
Yep. Oh, here's a name for you. How about this name? Out of Tennessee, Bernard King.
The man.
Yep,
now,
Bernie.
The league could have been his if not for, New York not knowing how to do a team right. The league could have been his. They were supposed to win 2 chips with him, man.
At least. Oh, and you know what? He's bringing up former Cavaliers. We already said Mark Price out of Georgia Tech, and Mark Price was a hell of a baller. I make this joke all the time. People want to say LeBron is the legacy of Cleveland. No. You know what the legacy and Trouble, man, you go get such a kick out of this. And Doc, I know you are too. And I know Antoine's going to get a kick out of this. You know the legacy of the Cleveland Cavaliers? Craig Elo. May 7th, 1989.
Bruh. You know, I got
Taking that
my
kick to the head.
Craig Elo here. Hold on.
May 7th, 1989. There's your legacy of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
You ain't right. Can't nobody take you nowhere, man.
There you go. Craig Elo out of Washington
Lubbock,
State.
Texas. Lubbock, Texas. He went to
Washington
State. Snowman.
How do you know this stuff, man? I have to take you to a trivia night, make some money.
Second set.
You'll have to stand in line because my wife made the same promise. Danny Manning out of Kansas, number 25.
Man, if that Clipper team could have got it together. Manning was something else. He was something
He
special.
was. Before the injuries got to him. Elo was a hooper and thought he could guard Michael Jordan, except Michael Jordan went up about 2 octaves. he on that game-winning shot in Game 5 of the first round, May 7th, 1989. I describe it this way: Elo went up, Jordan went up. Elo came down. Michael had a clean look.
Well, now, I mean that moment changed my life. But Elo was playing. He had a hurt ankle or something.
Didn't matter.
I don't have Terry coming.
He had a hurt ankle. Price had a hurt groin.
Hold on
And
one second.
it's like I said. Michael went up. Elo went up. Elo came down. Michael had a clean look at a 15-footer.
And while he was still up in the air, he never came down.
While he didn't look. When I say Michael had a clean look that afternoon, he had a clean look. And jumped higher when he celebrated at Richfield Coliseum. I had a chance to. I'll close it out with this. I had the pleasure and the honor of interviewing Cliff Livingston one afternoon, and I said, "How long do you have?" He says, "I have about 15 minutes." Man, we talked an hour, and I said, I asked him the question, "What was one of the worst arenas you ever played in?" Without even blinking, he said Richfield Coliseum.
Richfield Coliseum.
He didn't even blink.
He just said that place.
He said he was so happy when they didn't have to play there anymore.
Did he say why?
It was dark, it was dingy, and it was in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, because at least Boston, you were in Boston, because I heard the whole Boston was like.
Thank you. In Richfield, you were in a suburb of Cleveland, and besides, it's Cleveland. Does that tell you anything? Oh, I remember Michael Cage, San Diego State.
Yep, yeah, the Jerry curl.
Michael Cage
had the walking, running Jerry curl,
like AC Green.
Yep.
Oh, I got one. Orlando Woolridge.
Out of Notre Dame.
Yep.
Out of Notre Dame.
Yep. Him and Michael were teammates when Michael was a rookie.
Yep.
And he had a drunk problem.
They were teammates 84-85 and 85-86, because remember the 2 overtime game in Boston. And then Orlando was traded to the Nets because the Bulls had gotten the rights traded to them for Scottie Pippen.
Yep.
Do I remember? Hell yeah, I remember Dale Davis.
Jerry Krause was building his dynasty.
He was building his dynasty. And you said a name, and we'll close with this name. You said a name of a fellow I had a chance to meet while covering DePaul, Dave Corzine. He was one of the Bruce brothers in San Antonio, and then he came to the Bulls and was with the Bulls until 1989 when they traded him to the Orlando Magic.
Yep.
Man, there used to be some grown men in the league.
And I met half of them, damn it. I even met His Airness, because his son was playing ball one night for Whitney Young at Chicago State, and I did the play-by-play call. I went over at halftime, as was customary for me, to say hello to the principal of Whitney Young, Dr. Joyce Kenner. Yeah, this 6'6" bald guy intercepted, stuck his hand out and said, "Nice job on the broadcast." And then I went over and squealed like a little girl and sat in my seat and didn't say anything for the third quarter.
Wow.
I met His Airness, and he was as cool as can be. I will say it. I will endorse it. He's as cool as he can be. And that means he was a papa. He was dad, watching his son play. And the crazy part, they went on to win state that year.
Everybody remembers Adrian Dantley.
Number 45 he wore number 4 with Utah, 45 with the Pistons.
Yeah, those killer post moves.
Out of Notre Dame.
Just couldn't get along with Isaiah.
Nope.
The year they won.
Yep. He was traded for another one of my favorites, Mark Aguirre.
Didn't want to share his minutes with Dennis.
Yep. He was also playing.
Yeah, he didn't understand how much of a freak athlete Dennis Rodman was, man.
Yep.
Some things, Chuck Daly wasn't no fool. He recognized it right away.
Chuck Daly knew what time it was when he was getting close to that first championship in 1989. That's why they swung the trade for Adrian Dantley for Mark Aguirre.
Yep.
So you put Aguirre in that lineup, you put Dennis Rodman in that lineup, and you can actually flip between Dennis Rodman and another fellow who played center but also played forward at the same time, James Edwards.
Buddha.
Yep. James Buddha Edwards.
And he did it with precision. He knew when to put them in, when to take them out. Man, it was crazy how Chuck Daly pulled those strings.
And that fadeaway with James Edwards. You got a guy 7'1" out of Washington State that had a fadeaway jumper out of nowhere. That had a fadeaway jumper like a guard.
Yep. And it went swoosh every time.
And it was automatic.
Yep.
It was automatic. And then, of course, last one. One of my favorite. Listen, as a fan, I hated the Detroit Pistons in the late 80s. I hated the Bad Boys era, but after seeing the documentary and seeing how that team was built, I love and respect the hell out of them, especially out of this guy, Vinnie Johnson.
The microwave.
Yes.
Yep.
The guy who won the 1990 championship.
Yep.
007
himself. Yes. 007 himself. And
man, this has been a good.
I've had people ask me, why do you call Vinnie Johnson 007? Oh, that's easy. He hit the shot with 0.7 seconds remaining. And then they had to think about it and went, that's it. And the last one, like I said, Vinnie Johnson out of, let me remember correctly, Baylor.
But he's from New York City, though.
Mm-hmm. He's from New York City, but he played at Baylor. He's a Baylor Bear to his heart.
And Vinny, he'd have made himself a multimillionaire outside of basketball too. A lot of people don't know that, man. He did some work. I'm gonna have to go. I'm supposed to be working now. One day, somebody need to do a whole show on that card collection, though, man. You have to do a whole hour on that. That's just
I didn't realize.
I may not have the cards. Doc may have the cards, but we can do something like we did here in the past hour. He'll show the name, and I'll tell you.
That's something else, man. More people need to know what kind of knowledge you got like that. Just off the I can't believe it.
Snowman, you got. I memorized some of the stuff, but Snowman, you're like an encyclopedia there.
Yeah, I will never question him when it comes to basketball ever.
This might be my retirement. My retirement right here, the David Robinson rookie card.
Out of Navy.
Is it signed?
I shouldn't even show this on camera.
Out of the Naval Academy.
I need to put this in a safe.
Yeah, you don't have a safe.
You better Velcro that bastard. Make sure it doesn't go anywhere.
I know, right?
Oh, man.
All right, gentlemen.
Fellas, enjoy.
It has been a blast. It has been a blast. And Doc, thank you so much for this. I had a ball, man.
All right.
We got to do this again.
Yeah, we will. We will. I mean, it's almost playoff time. So let's do it again.
Let's do it again.
Everybody, you want to pump your channel real quick?
Go to Snowman, listen, my new YouTube channel is SNWMN Multimedia. That's the brand that's all over the place. Y'all know me as Snowman. Snowman Multimedia is my company. And please, if you can, please donate to the family fund via Cash App. The tag you need is $tallman Dr. K50. And I'm glad y'all enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed hanging out with Doc, and we got to do this again with more cards, and we'll both talk about the player. And as soon as I say the name and he pulls out the card, I know it's gonna be fun, man. Because that whole segment started when I said Chuck Person.
Yep.
And you reached in and pulled out the card. I said, I'll give you a name.
Hey, man.
Chuck Connor's Person. And Doc says, hey, he flipped a couple pages and like, what are you talking about? Flip, and here's the card right here.
No, man, I remember when I first got hooked on the NBA, man. I would go to the supermarket and get my NBA yearbooks, and one year, every game the Bulls played, I put a W next to the game or an L.
Yep.
I was following those guys like I was following Jesus. And
my dad got me into it, and I started doing it in '87 when I followed the Lakers with their 2 title runs, the same with the Detroit Pistons. And of course, I was following the Chicago Bulls and their rise. I was doing the same thing, a W or an L next to their name. And then 1991 showed up, and I was away at college, and I didn't have the yearbook, but I charted it on my door in my dorm room. And you know, people show off when they're at college and they have their dorm rooms and they talk about different teams and things like that. So I started putting the score up on my door of the game that they played the night before. Well, my housemates got in on the action, and every time the Bulls would lose, they would paste the score to my door. But every time the Bulls would win, and this is when 1990, this is the debut of writing boards that get stuck on a dorm door. I would write the score on their I'd write the score on their door. Oh man, and Antoine, these bring a tear to my eye because this is what the players we were naming was what the NBA was all about, man. And we got 2 of them in the background: Dominique Wilkins out of Georgia and Larry Bird, of course, out of Indiana State.
All right,
man.
Yeah, everyone. So I'm gonna wrap this up. Hey, I should call the channel Big Discussions Michigan Football, but hey, every now and then. I'll bring in some NBA and we'll do this some more.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Snowman, you got any party shots?
Just thank you. Thank you for this. This was a blast. I had a ball.
Okay. I did too. All right, Snowman. Have a good night.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. I'm gonna wind the string down. I need to eat something before it gets too late. Thank you for those of you who hung out, especially my Michigan football people. I don't do the NBA over here a lot because we love our Michigan football that much. But yeah, I'll do this from time to time, and if I get it to pop, maybe I'll do it a little bit more. Well, everyone, I'm gonna wrap this up. I need to eat something before it gets too late. You guys know how I end. Please like, share, subscribe if you're new. If you want to donate something to the channel, thank you to those of you who super chatted. Please consider donating to Snowman's. If you're watching on the playback, to his Cash App, and also subscribe over there. Antoine says, "Peace, Doc. Old school basketball." Hey, we were fortunate to see it. We were fortunate to see it versus what we have today. So, everyone, the link to my newsletter is in the description box below. Please consider signing up if you are a reader. There aren't. I heard there aren't a lot of readers on YouTube, but thank you to everyone who came and hung out and supported and commented there in the chat. And hey, as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Always try to do your best. Take care, and I will talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.